Are you ready to get physical? It's time to talk some piss and more. We gonna talk about it all. DVD, CD, UHD, VHS, corpse, Blu-ray. Who knows, maybe you'll even see the laser disc today. Let's get physical. We wanna talk some physical media. Movies and TV, music and more. Come check out what we have in store. This is a media house stream. It's time for some physical media on FanZcene.
I know it was like really popular because it like won some Oscars and whatever, but
Jimmy does that.
It's got the Mighty Ducks guy. It's got that guy.
No! Yes, but no! He's not the Mighty Ducks guy! It's Emilio Estevez! Who's the brand man? You can never have enough physical media. Emilio!
I miss Runner. Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene. It's just going to be me and Tom again tonight. We're old and we're tired.
Decrepit.
Yeah, but we're going to put on a good show for you guys tonight and have some
try.
awesome. Yeah, go try. Have some good physical media for you and have a good time. How are you doing, Tom?
Like you, I'm tired, but I'm here.
Yeah. It's a long
I'm
night.
gonna get this started.
All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the chat and we'll get into the grooviness. We have Random Brad. Well, hello there, General Kenobi. Glad to have you with us. Hail to you, Tim Hayes. Glad to see you in the chat with us tonight. Hail to you, Brian Barth. Glad to see you there as well. Style section says, hail all you beautiful physical media maniacs. Well, yes, sir. Well, hail to you as well. And Ace Hanlon says, make physical media great again. Always. Because physical media is the superior format. Because it's huge. I can't do impressions. But yeah. What's up, Deleted Scenes? Salute to you. Glad to have you with us. And then we have Six. Says, go live. Is this in the top right corner? Click on it. Yeah. We're old.
Hey, Six.
Okay. What's up, Six? Glad to have you with us. And yes,
We got the best physical media.
There you go. The best. It's going to be
It's
huge.
the biggest.
What's up? Yes, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let's see who else we got here. I'm trying to catch up here. We have Dragonzilla. Hell to you, Dragonzilla. Glad to have you with us, as always. Corleone Rogue. Hello. And Duck Nation says, I freaking love physical media. Who doesn't? I mean, it's the best. You can't go wrong with that.
We got all these idiots out there saying streaming's the best. It's better than anything else out there. No, it's not.
I had the opportunity to go into streaming. I told them no.
It's not my bag.
No, what's up, Scottish Geek Guy? Howdy to you. Glad to see you with us as well. My sisters and mom tell me to stop buying so many movies because I have so many already, but I keep saying yeah, but there are still movies I need. Same here.
Someday I'll have enough movies to build a house out of movies.
It's getting close. I'm still at the movies. Yeah, Runner's a good kid. Rookie, on the other hand, yeah, he's a good kid too.
We got to shake him up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing a double shift tonight. Another one should be back next weekend, though. He says, "Yeah."
He keeps threatening us with that.
He keeps, yeah. I swear I'm coming back, guys. No. No, just kidding, Rook. Yeah, it was a late night. It was a late night. Yeah. Who else we got here? Am I missing anybody? I think we're all caught up. All right. What's this real quick before we get in? Oh, what's up, Stephen Luther? Glad to see you. I managed to get Criterion's DVDs of A Long Good Friday, Happiness, and Chimes at Midnight. Also got The Long Kiss Goodnight. Oh, nice. Cool. Long Kiss Goodnight, I think, is a good movie. I do think it's a bit underrated. But with that being said, welcome to everybody out there. Make sure you guys share it out and tell your friends and everything. And there wasn't much. Was there much in ways of releases?
There's some rumors. Sound of Music, 2025 from Disney. The Great Silence. Never heard of it, but it's got Klaus Kinski in it. House is getting a release from Universal in December. The TV show.
Oh, okay, TV show. I was thinking another
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, no, I figured I better be more clear on that. Let's see here. What else we got going on? There was a few minor ones. Did we talk about Seinfeld last week? I think we did.
Yeah, I think I brought. Were you on here or were you? Yeah, we brought it up like because the aspect ratio is different for the 4K and the Blu-ray.
Yeah, and it's probably my fault because I just started watching them. So yeah.
Yeah.
I sent Warner Brothers over the edge. They're like, we got enough watches now. We can release the 4K Blu-rays and the Blu-rays.
So now it's time to buy them.
It just was weird that I just started watching the show from the start again, and then they decide we're going to drop the movies.
Yeah.
Or not the Blu-rays.
The Blu-rays.
Otherwise, yeah, there was a hint that we will be getting Ninja Turtles next year. Ernie Reyes Jr. Put out a post that kind of confirms that there is something in the works at least. What else was there?
I know Kino had some like titles that normally.
I was gonna say Kino. I thought had some announcements, but I couldn't remember what they were.
They got April Fool's Day coming to 4K. Body Parts with Jeff Fahey, I believe that is, coming to 4K.
Yep.
Orca is coming to 4K. Sea of Love with Pacino is coming to 4K.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like these are all in January, by the way. Everybody, if you're wondering, January. The Searchers from Warner Brothers is coming to 4K.
And this is going to be an odd one because this will be, I believe, the first 4K to come from the Warner Brothers Archive collection.
Yes,
so I'm curious to see how much better this looks than Rio Lobo did.
It probably looked a lot better.
Like ass. Yeah. And Sixer is already technically a horror franchise called House. In fact, they're so clever that House 2 is called The Second Story.
It's true. And it's a joke in Scream 2, by the way.
Yeah.
What's
House
up?
1 and 2 are great, though. House 2 is probably even better than the first one.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's so good. It's so funny. What's up, Tyrell? Glad to have you with us. And then there was the Shout Factory, your favorite releases.
Oh, yeah, Vampires, because I opened my Shout Factory. I literally just opened it last week.
So now it's time. Here's the 4K.
Now they released it. Yeah.
What's the deal? Like you know how I know Shout Factory is in a shit spot right now, and how
they're losing all their titles to Kino and shit. That's
yes. Yeah. It's like all those titles I read off from Kino normally would be Shout Factory. Plus, they're releasing The Last Voyage of the Demeter on 4K. They're starting to get new movies.
Well, they've been doing a couple of them. They've been doing that lately with.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Whatever. I mean, I guess if the studios are going to use the boutique titles to release some of their new movies in 4K, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Willow was the other one that's kind of rumored, I believe. But that's had a 4K scan for a while, and I'm sure it'll look like ass.
Yep. You know it. Especially coming from Disney. So,
well, George did those years ago.
Oh, that's right. He scanned all of them in 8K.
And I have the digital version, I believe, in 4K, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can tell it's DNR'd to hell in the digital version.
Yep. But I believe that was about it.
Seven's getting a steelbook. We're not getting the box. I think we already brought that up. But
yeah.
And Cherry 2000, did we bring that one up last week?
No, I don't think we brought up Cherry 2000.
Which has already been brought out, but I believe this is a new scan. So this is, so brand new HD master from a 4K scan. So I'm not, you know what? I have the older Blu-ray of this. I think I'm going to hold off on this and just see if they don't release a 4K in a year.
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised.
I'm going to hold off. I'm just going to wait on that one. I've had to hold off on a lot of them lately. It's just been, the prices on some of these are redonkulous. And look, guys, I'm very disappointed with Criterion too now. To me, they're quickly becoming on the same level as Shout. Because I didn't get a chance to gripe about this yet because I don't think it happened last week. But I got Godzilla 4K in the mail in the Interium between the shows, and I was excited. I plugged it in. The only thing that's in 4K is the theatrical cut, or the Japanese theatrical cut, I should say.
Right.
and it doesn't really look all that much better. So, and they're charging like $10 more than what the Blu-ray was. And if you already have the big like box set, you already have the Blu-ray that's in that. So yeah, so just beware, guys. And I'm kind of pissed because I pre-ordered it and then it went on sale.
Oh,
The half off sale.
I hate when that happens.
So I got double fucked up the ass on it.
Mm.
And of course I ordered it from Diabolic, so I can't just return it and do it like with Amazon. So yeah, I was just kind of like, you dirty motherfuckers. So yeah.
Yep, Criterion is they're not as good as they once
Slowly
been.
starting to piss me off because yeah, they ain't adding anything new to anything anymore. They're literally giving you the same damn cases and shit to the point where I can't tell the difference between which one's the 4K and the Blu-ray if it wasn't for the size of the case. Usually,
it's true.
And if they're identical, then I have no idea. The only one that I was actually happy with was when they didn't do it to Night of the Living Dead. They actually put the 4K in an actual case,
right?
Which I was happy about. That's the only time they've done that. But notoriously, they have one of the worst cases ever with their Citizen Kane case.
The big old fold.
Like, what the hell? Got to go through a maze just to get to your disc. Anyway, done bitching and griping about that. I believe that was all the major announcements and news in media because, yeah, it's that time of the year. Things are slowing down. We didn't get a whole lot of Christmas movies this year.
No, we didn't.
The only Christmas one we got really was The Grinch, and I got that one.
Wasn't was that announced? What is it? Not Holiday Inn, the other one, White Christmas.
Oh, White Christmas came out this week, but I haven't picked it up yet. I'm gonna wait and see if it goes down a little bit. It's supposed to be a limited cover, but I'm not so worried about it selling out right away.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah. I mean, that one year we got like Elf, Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story, like a bunch of Christmas movies. It's like same for this past Halloween too. It felt like a lot of the Halloween titles weren't there, and now it feels like the Christmas titles are definitely not there.
Yeah, and last year we got the Rudolph Rankin and Bass set as well.
Yeah, the big set. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
God, what else was there? There was a couple of them last year. No, the year before that I think was the Peanuts, or maybe 2 years before that I got that, but. Yeah, no, this year just felt like they didn't really drop anything for the holidays at all. It seemed like just the Grinch 4K. And it's really just the same exact stuff in 4K from before. So as far as the three shows that were on there, the Grinch Stole Christmas, Halloween is Grinch Night, and the Cat in the Hat Meet Grinch. So at least you get all three of those in 4K, unlike Criterion, who doesn't even bother giving you the US version of Godzilla in 4K. Yeah. Although I guess that some of it is only from a 16 millimeter print, but so what? Just those shots are going to look like shit. Big deal.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So I'll tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be too happy with the Lucy box set either that just come out.
Oh. Yeah, that's going to be...
A lot of it looks like up-converted Blu-ray.
Oh. Wonder if that's what they're doing now is like... Because like
this show doesn't have a good source. That's part of the problem, I guess.
Okay.
So
have a good night at work, 6.
There's gonna be some people who complain about I Love Lucy.
Yeah. I was just curious.
Wait for that one.
I'm just curious about some of these ones that are coming on a Blu-ray because, like we've talked about in the past, it takes a lot to do a whole series to rescan them and everything.
People are gonna bitch about. First of all, they're gonna bitch about how it's put in the cases.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're stacked discs on top of stacked discs on top of stacked discs. Because this set should be in like a bunch of different cases for one. Because this show, and then they're cool enough to have the broadcast version and the syndicated versions on there. But these have been DNR'd so bad that they look almost like DVD quality.
That's crazy.
And I guess it's because they only have a few different sources for them anymore. They don't have the original 35 millimeter source for Lucy. So there's all mostly taken from 16 millimeter prints, I guess.
Yeah.
And what they didn't have for 16 millimeters, probably from 1/4 inch tape or whatever. And it's up converted. And there's like in between shots, it'll go from semi decent looking, but you can tell it's been up converted and DNR'd. And then in between a shot, it'll cut to something else, so you can tell it'll cut from the syndicated version and from the original version. It's like that original version looks so much better. Why didn't you use that for the whole thing? But I don't think it exists. That's why. I don't know what they have left of it, but they put it out. It's a pricey box set. It's not like overpriced, but it is pricey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $80. But I mean, Lucy had a bunch of episodes. I think it was like 300 or 400. I don't even know how many episodes.
Yeah, that shit ran forever,
Yeah.
man. Like well into the color.
That's what I mean. There's so many discs in there. It's like
Yeah.
they're stacked.
Crazy. All right.
There's only 180, but I think they also have the other show in there too. That's why.
The Lucy, because like Desi Arnaz.
She did that show later. Yeah, the other one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's both of those shows. So I can't remember what's all in it, but it's huge because the fucker's thick. It's like this thick.
Mm-hmm.
And you literally have like 4 discs stacked on top of each other, stacked on like those thick. Here, I'll go grab it.
Yeah, go ahead. Because I remember watching I Love Lucy as a kid. I remember the TV show and stuff. You know, I was one of those kids that watched. So that's why I like a lot of older movies and black white movies don't bother me. I watch stuff like that all the time, like Andy Griffith, I Love Lucy.
Yeah, the Andy Griffith one looks great. I've got those.
I love that shit.
See now these. So you have 4 stacked on top of each other, with more stacked on top of each other, with even more stacked over here on top of each other in the same. So you have like 8 discs stacked on top of each other and going both ways. Now this one's even out of the thing.
Oh man!
So yeah, I wouldn't even be able to keep track of where I'm at on half of these. So yeah, like it is just a mess.
That's crazy.
And I tried canceling it, and they had it like in the process of shipping, and they said, "Oh well, we'll cancel it." Well, it didn't cancel; it got sent anyway.
Mm.
So I almost sent it back, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, because I like the show. You know, it's Lucy.
Yeah.
And I started watching it, and I'm like, this. I hope all the episodes don't look like this, because the pilot episode is what it starts with, the unaired pilot that they didn't show on television until 1990.
Right.
Because it wasn't discovered until then. And it looks like ass. And it was from a TV special, so I'm like, okay, maybe they just didn't rescan that one. But the rest of the shows don't look all that much better.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically if you have the DVDs of this one, this might be one that you're just better off sticking with the DVDs. And I'm assuming all the same special features are probably on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird how some of it's up converted. And then like, yeah, I don't know. You'll have to see it for yourself to get it, but it looks a lot like those videos when you go on YouTube and they say like, you know, 4K up convert in 60 frames per second.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but it's like that kind of a thing. It's not waxy or soap opera-y, but you can see the DNR bad.
Right. Oh.
Like the static grain or whatever you want to call it, the snail trail grain and all that shit. It's fake grain because it's not even there. Because they have a thing here where they show you what the original prints looked like compared to what they did to it. And I'm like, I wouldn't have shown that. Because, yeah, it does look a little bit better, but it's more like generic better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. It just doesn't feel natural.
Not as bad as when they're trying to upconvert VHS, but almost as bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, 16 millimeter should look better than this. This is fucking weird.
Especially like with the being I Love Lucy, people, you know, that type of show is, and then like the Andy Griffith show is really great, like you said, on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I don't know what happened between there. I mean, I know this is in the early days of television, so evidently they didn't preserve the show the way they should have. They even have a disclaimer in front of every episode and all that kind of crap. So,
well,
in that respect, whatever. Yeah. But anyway, that just struck me as odd, and I thought I'd better bring that up before anybody spends $70 on it or $80 on it or whatever it is now.
Well, there you guys go. You have been warned about the new Godzilla from Criterion and the I Love Lucy set.
I mean, if you don't have it, that's not a bad price for how many discs are in here and shit.
That's true.
You get 194 of the episodes. So, yeah, there's more, like 14 more episodes than the original show. So you get the original show and I think whatever that show she did afterwards.
I think it was called Lucy, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Lucy. Yeah. And it was like all but him because they got divorced and that was it.
I think so. I think that's what it is, but it only lasted for like half a season. I think that's on here if I'm not mistaken. But there's a bunch of other special features. I mean, maybe just wait till it goes on sale. Just don't get heartbroken when you stick it in and you're just like,
It doesn't look good.
Because yeah, Andy Griffith looks great. Leave It to Beaver, when I previewed that, looked pretty good. So a lot of these classic shows, I can't wait for Addams Family and the Munsters. Those are the two I'm
Oh, yeah.
really hoping for soon. And even Gillian's Island would be nice.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that they put out? I meant to. I don't know if I ever told you that, and it's too late now.
That weird DVD or Blu-ray
Weird
where they did the
4K of
scan because somebody had a 16 millimeter print of that TV movie.
Yeah.
I think you did or somebody else did, because I came this close to buying it. But they up converted it.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, and I watched like the preview clip they had there, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I'll wait for a legitimate version of it.
Yeah, we'll get one on that, a better one on that.
Eventually, it will happen. I mean, I know they're in the process of doing Addams Family.
Yeah, I did
that was
hear
announced
that.
like a year ago, but I mean, it takes a while to scan all these shows, and Amazon's actually doing them proper, I'm sure, and actually rescanning them all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I can't believe Universal hasn't done the Munsters yet in HD.
I'm surprised. It's because like the Addams Family and the Munsters sell good as far as I see.
And there's not even that many episodes of the Munsters, so it wouldn't take them that long to put it all together. I mean, there's only one season or 2 seasons, I think.
One or two, and then
same thing with Addams Family. I think it's only 3 seasons or something like that too.
Yeah. It's funny when you think about them two shows, because like they've so ingrained into people.
And, well, they would also do like 50 episodes a season too.
Yeah,
that was the
other... you think about it, and you like hear 1 or 2 seasons, but then you realize how long they actually went, and then
you're like, wait a minute, how could they do that when they were on syndication every day? It's like, yeah, because they made like 100 fucking episodes
in like 2 years.
I think it's something like 88, but still, it's like, it's close enough, right?
It's good. I mean, they worked and got it out there, and they made.
But then you got shows like Lucy and Andy Griffith and stuff like that we brought. Like, shit, they got 200-300 episodes. So,
yeah,
we know them all, but
yeah,
through osmosis. But
yeah,
like I bet you there's not one Andy Griffith episode one of us could name that the other hasn't seen.
Oh, I watched it.
Out of the hundreds of them.
Okay, what about the 2 where they take the 2 loose chicks out on a date?
Oh, let's see. I think I remember the one you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, like Barney hooks them up with these 2 like loose girls, and they take them over to the next town over because Andy's having this spat with
Mount
his
Pilot.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
Mount Pilot.
Yeah.
I just watched that one not too long ago.
I always loved the one. My 2 favorite episodes were when Barney buys the car from the little old lady and gets screwed.
Yeah,
it's got sawdust in it.
She gives him this. My husband drove it out.
Yeah. And the other ones when Barney and was somebody else with him? I'm trying to remember now. It was at least Barney was being held captive by that crazy hillbilly chick.
Oh yeah.
And those 2 felons or whatever, and Andy has to go in and save him. It's like the most action-packed episode of Andy Griffith ever. But it is. It's like, oh my God, is he going to save Barney? Like,
Barney's going to die. I remember that one.
It's the most action you ever see out of Andy. And I think it's one of the few times you ever see him with a gun in the show, too. That's the other reason why I remember it, because he actually has the gun in the show. But
yeah.
Barney was always pulling out his gun.
Yeah, he only had 1 bullet and kept pulling it out.
Because that's all Andy would give him.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I just saw the one where like I think they arrest a guy and they put him in there and he breaks out and he's got Barney's gun. And
yes. And then he locks Barney in the fucking jail.
Yeah, and then like Barney's like, no, don't do it. And he's like, oh, you got Barney's gun, and so he's like not even scared. He walks up to the guy and then he shoots it, and there's an actual bullet in it. Oh, it was so good.
Anyway, so let's see. How come classic shows look so good on 4K? Well, if they have the good, it all has to do with what they have to work from. If they have a really good 35 millimeter master negative, something to that effect, you're going to always get a better quality show out of it. Now, once you hit the 2000s, the late 90s, a lot of shows started shooting digitally. So you'll have give or take, depending on how they shot them digitally. The other problem with TV shows, once you get to like the late 70s and 80s, and even some of the shows before that, depending on what it was, like soap operas and other things, they were literally put on videotape.
Yep.
1/4-inch tape or whatever they had at the time, up until like, Betacam and shit like that. So yeah, like a lot of these were mastered on like just shows, if they were even mastered. That's the thing. Because a lot of times when they were done with a lot of these shows, unless they had any life afterwards, they were just tossed. And
Yeah.
sometimes when these shows were gotten ready for syndication, they would trim them down and those bits would be lost. And then the only masters, because this is the problem, I guess, with Elf until recently, they found a bunch of 1/4-inch copies from overseas. I think it was Germany or something like that, that they were the full episodes of Elf. But of course they were done on videotape, so they're never going to look any better than videotape.
Right.
Right. But we do finally have the full uncut versions, except for one episode of Elf, to where for the last, 30 years, all we've had have been the syndicated versions, because that's all they had. Because they chucked the original masters and kept the syndicated masters going forward, and that was it. So, and there's other horror stories, like supposedly, the story of like Masters of the Universe masters being lost, but then again, we've talked to some people that say that might not be accurate. So we'll have to see how that rolls in the future. But yeah, as long as you got good film to work from, then you could do a pristine 4K scan of it, as long as it's handled with care.
Yeah. And
and I'm curious to see how Seinfeld and stuff is going to look, because it looks like ass on streaming, but a lot of what makes it look like ass is the type of shit that streaming does, like the digital blocking and shit like that.
Yeah.
Especially like if you've watched the show, like in the scenes where he's in the comedy club, since it's so dark, those scenes are very grainy. So then they're combating it with both DNR and then whatever system that Netflix has going on, trying to combat it. So you get like this bespeckled, checkered mess every time you're in the comedy club. But I bet it's going to look great on 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So,
Probably.
And that show was a show they actually took really well care of after the second season. Like once it started being, popular, then it actually got the better treatment. So yeah.
There you go. All right. Hope we guys gave you some good conversation and stuff there too.
Absolutely, I hope so.
Yeah. Do you want me to go first, since I know.
Unless you want me to. No, I got 4, so that's up to you.
Okay. Well, I didn't know, since you showed off the Lucy set. I know that's not a pick, but since you.
No, but I'll probably never get to it on the show itself proper.
Okay. Well, then you go ahead, and since you
know
got
what here. So here's a hangover from last week. And before you think I actually watched Halloween 2, and we're gonna have to sit here and talk about Halloween 2 again. No, I did not. For those who may not be aware of, the reason why this is a good collectible one to keep, although the movie doesn't look that bad. I mean, Universal did a pretty good job on this scan. What it has on here is a movie, documentary called Terror in the Aisles. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Oh, yes.
And I guess Shout Factory actually released it a little while back, and I was completely unaware of it, but I'm not spending $20 on it when I have it right here.
Yep.
Because you can get this disc right here for like $6.
Yep.
And it has this on it. And it also has the alternate ending and deleted scenes on it as well. None of the other features, but hey, if you don't have it and you want a decent copy and you don't give a shit about 4K, there you go. And you get this documentary, which it wasn't as cool as I thought. I remembered it as a kid. Seeing it as a kid, and I'm like, oh god, I got to get this, because I saw this on sale on Amazon one day for $6. And I'm like, or maybe it was $4.99, whatever it was. Either way, I'm like, I'm fucking grabbing that. I don't care if it's going to be my 5th copy of Halloween 2, because I want Terror in the Aisle.
Right.
And I remembered it from like years ago, seeing it on video or whatever, and then now I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what I remember to a point, but I remember it kind of being, I guess, just in my mind's eye, maybe it was more of a documentary. But it's funny because you brought on that Boogeyman documentary last week. Right. And that's pretty much what this is. But the difference is it's actually, they do produce little interstitial things with like not Karen Allen, what's her face from RoboCop?
Yeah, I know her and Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance and a couple other people. Oh shit!
That's good. I'm gonna look it up now, because
but it becomes literally like a clip show of horror films, and they do talk about little things. Nancy Allen, thank you. I knew it was something Allen.
Yeah.
But so like I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more behind the scenes stuff. I guess maybe in my mind's eye I remember it being that way, but no, it was like literally just a clip show with these little interstitials. Now I can imagine at the time when it came out, to be able to see all these clips in a theater like that, it would be a big deal. Or maybe if you're a film collector, and to have that reel would be a nice, reel to have to show off, because, it has all these great scenes from horror films, right?
Right.
In film. So, I mean, at least it's HD quality and all that kind of business. So in that part, it's great. It's fine, but it's it was just kind of like, it felt me feeling like a little let down afterwards. I was kind of like, oh, this kind of just reminds me of the Boogeyman documentary, because all it is just literally clips from
Right.
everything from, you know, the old horror films to Psycho to, you know, Friday the 13th 1 and 2 and Halloween 1 and 2 and, you know, stuff like that. But I mean, that's basically where it ends, is like 1982, even though it came out in 84. But there's so many clips of movies in this thing. It's, you know, it kind of reminds me of some of the other clip show things we've done, but I just wished it was more of a documentary than
Yeah.
that. But I guess if you pick up the Shout version, they have a TV cut on there, which cuts out some of the nudity and the extreme gore, but then adds like 10 minutes of other shit. I don't know what the difference is, to be honest with you. So I don't know.
I'd rather just have the nudity.
And it's in full frame and standard def, so there's that too.
Oh,
so.
there you go. No, but I do remember this, and they actually, you know, I remember that it's just
actually be
clips.
cropped off because they didn't have the full open matte stuff, so it'd be more chopped off on the sides is what I'm trying to say.
Chopped off on- I get you.
So you don't even get an open matte version of the film. It's just
yeah. It probably
just an extra 10 minutes of shit for some reason. I don't know, probably no footage or whatever.
You probably got the right idea. They'll just buy the Halloween 2 Blu-ray. And I do think that is still super cheap, that Blu-ray. So
it is, yeah. And I think the one to get it from Shout Factory is like $17 or $18 or more. But I think it's even out of print now, but it's just not that. It's not worth that much because you can get it so easily on the Halloween.
Yeah.
But it was never carried over to any other version.
Mm-hmm.
They just dropped it on that version for some reason, which is weird because they call it the 30th anniversary edition on the cover. But there's literally nothing that has to do with Halloween 2 other than they do use clips from Halloween and Halloween 2 in that.
Right.
And Donald Pleasance just happens to be in it, so I guess that's the connection.
I guess because it's just like, oh, we're sitting in a theater and this is Donald Pleasance, and here
it's just kind of one of those things we used to watch as kids as a novelty. And like I said, I'm sure like people who were like film aficionados would have this is kind of the type of movie that they buy the reels of, because you get all these different movies, you know, different clips from them on there, so you can just roll it out.
And you can, like, if you've never seen them, you can go through them and pick out the ones now I want to see
they
this.
They do a piss poor job of letting you know what. That's the other thing I would complain about. Like, there's absolutely no way of knowing what movie anything's from, unless you already know it. So there's like 3 movies in here I'd like to see that I have no idea exactly what they're from. I think I pinpointed them down to 1 or 2. But like, yeah, it's like, that's the other piss poor part of it, is they don't really do a good job of letting you know what they're from. Like, now if you go to the Wikipedia, it does section them off to where that's how I kind of figured out what's what. So I'm like 90% sure I know what movies that they were that I didn't know. But no, it's kind of a cool collection, but like you said, if it's not worth buying the Shout Factory version for. Probably.
Yeah, I couldn't.
It's one of those movies that had a better cover, because this is why I remember seeing it as a kid now, and I probably was pissed because I thought it was like an actual movie, and it's not. Because the cover makes it look cool. I'll bring that up. Well, you talk what you were going to say. Sorry.
No, I was actually going to describe the cover because I remember it being a skull with like the titles in there of the movies and stuff. So
it makes it seem like you're getting something you're not, I guess.
Something different.
Let me see if I can bring it up here.
Okay. Yeah, that is funny. I never really thought about that till you brought that up just now. That is pretty much like the Boogeyman thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. I remember that. Yeah. Just like that. Yep. And it's basically...
Yeah, I guess it does have their names in there, but on the video, I guess you wouldn't notice that.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
Because you kind of just... Yeah, there you go. See, like Midnight Express, Scanners, Dawn of the Dead.
And some of these movies are not even horror films. That's the other fun part.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and the way they section them off is kind of weird.
But do they start like? Do they like at least go in? I haven't seen it in years, so I can't. But do they go in order from like the old movies to the newer movies, or do they just here and there? Boom, 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 boom.
No, what it is they section it off by like, you have like Sex and Terror, Loathsome Villains, Natural Terror, Cosmic Terror, Spoofs. And like then you had like the sexy stuff and some other stuff that had nothing to do with really horror. There's a couple of other ones, And then you had weird stuff like Nighthawks and stuff that was in there. That's like, why? And like,
Isn't that with the Stallone? Nighthawks? Yeah.
yeah, and they give away the whole ending. So, they show the best 2 or 3 shots from Nightwing. But I mean, I could see this being like a film collector's wet dream because, to be able to get all these movies on film would be damn near impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get a reel, the full reels of Terror in the Isles, that means you got some of the best scenes from Jaws 1 and 2. You got some of the best scenes from The Exorcist, The Howling, American Werewolf in London. I mean, Poltergeist. You got some great fucking scenes from a lot of these really classic films. Texas Chainsaw, all these stuff, all in one movie at once. Halloween 1 and 2. So like, it'd be perfect for that kind of a thing. But see, now it lists like Saturday the 14th and some other ones in here that I don't remember them showing scenes from. So that's probably what's in the deleted stuff.
Oh, okay.
Unless I missed it. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember if because it said list Phantom of the Paradise as well. And I don't remember if I saw that in this version or not. Maybe I did. I was kind of like, it kind of got boring after a while. Because that's the problem. Now that I've seen most of these movies a million times over.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm pretty sure I was pissed because I kind of got flashbacks to going, oh yeah, I remember getting pissed when I rented this and thought it was something completely different.
This is not at all what I expected.
I think I was expecting something more like Fade to Black or whatever, something, where it's like,
yeah.
Or Popcorn, a horror movie revolved around a theater.
Yeah.
But no.
Fade to Black is a good one.
We got that Halloween out of the way.
Yeah.
But Halloween wasn't quite done for you yet, was it?
Well,
I don't know where you're going next, but
no, I don't have any Halloween stuff because, I did actually watch. Would have some Halloween stuff left over, but I brought them on like multiple times already. So.
Oh, you didn't bring the one that I brought on too?
Oh yeah. I got that one. I was checked the private
I don't know
chat.
if you want to do that right now, but okay.
Checked for chat.
Oh, okay.
I figured we'll do that one at the end because I got.
Oh, all right.
Just get these out of the way real quick, but
Gotcha.
I will.
All right. So what do you got?
Yeah. Okay. So I have. I watched.
If I'd have known that, I went the other direction just to kind of set it up better.
But that's okay. I mean, we'll start with horror and with horror. But I watched The Last Boy Scout here with Bruce Willis.
And you didn't watch the other shitty movie that's
No, I didn't watch The Last Man Standing.
The shitty remake of what is it? Fistful of Dollars or whatever.
Is that what it is, a remake of?
It's one of those Clint Eastwood movies. I can't remember which one. Hang 'em High or Fistful of Dollars, one of the two.
I was never a big fan of it, and this was the only way you can get The Last Boy Scout is on one of these. So it doesn't
Honestly,
have
I don't know if I have that or not. I might.
I don't think The Last Boy Scout. I was going through Blu-ray.com. I don't think it has a U.S.
single. Yeah, I think you're right because I think I have that. I might.
Yeah.
Fistful of Dollars. I knew it was one of those. Yeah.
There you go. But no, I got in a mood to watch The Last Boy Scout. It's a fun movie, and it's directed by Tony Scott, the good brother.
Wrong kid, Dad.
The wrong kid, Dad. I was kind of laughing about it though because the plot is hilarious. Now that you really think about it, the owner of an NFL team wants to is bribing senators across the U.S. to legalize sports gambling, so football can get back in the headlines and be watched. So I'm like, well, look at where we're at now.
This movie has one of the best intros ever in a movie.
Right? And there is no Friday Night Football.
No, but you believe it.
Exactly. Friday night's the right night for football. The opening of that movie. Oh, I do like The Last Boy Scout. It's great, and it's got that great.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
I mean, Billy Blanks in the beginning when he just pulled.
And it taught me something very important.
What's that?
I love the scene where he comes in and figures out that his wife's fucking around on him.
Oh yeah,
the toilet seat's up.
He goes, so yeah. He looks at it. He's like, sometimes I think you forget I'm a detective. He's like, the toilet seat's up. You the way you jumped in here when I came in here. So he's in the closet, and he does it, and it's his best friend to boot. Oh, it is a great scene.
Yeah. It's been a few years since I've seen that movie, but yeah. It's like the only parts I remember are like that. The part where the guy shoots the guy on the field or whatever. And then I remember the ending, I think, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Danielle Harris is his daughter in the movie.
That's
She's
right.
fa-
Yeah,
yeah,
she was
she's
in a
phenomenal.
lot of stuff when she was younger. That's
Yeah, she
it's
was
crazy how
everywhere.
often you see her pop up and stuff, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. She's actually gets to be a big part of the movie halfway through. Once after they introduce her, Halle Berry's in it for a little bit.
Yep.
She's a stripper. Um,
Yeah,
she's the
it's
one
one of
that
her early movies. Yeah.
yeah she's really young and you could tell you could tell it was like her one of her first roles, and she's the one that sort of starts it all off because his friend, because he's a private detective, and he used to work for the Secret Service. He had saved the president's life, but then he lost his job as a Secret Serviceman because the guy from Major League with the pitcher, the old pitcher from Major League, that's Crisco Oral. He's a senator. He was doing some bad stuff to a woman, and Bruce Willis came in and knocked his teeth out. And so, but yeah, like his friend tells him that the stripper Halle Berry, she needs protection. So you do this, and it's actually all set up because he wants to. He knows it's a very dangerous thing. So that way, if maybe Bruce Willis gets killed, he can keep banging his wife. So because he's the one screwing Bruce Willis's wife, but then he gets killed. That guy does, and then Bruce Willis goes to protect Halle Berry, and she gets killed. And that's when he teams up with Damon Wayans, who's a former quarterback for the. I love that the California team is like the Cowboys. Like the owner, he's the bad guy. He's a cowboy, and he's clearly supposed to be like the Dallas Cowboys, but it's a California team called the Warriors. But so yeah, that's when they team up to investigate why she was killed and what she had, and that's where it leads into the whole sports betting thing, which is hilarious because you have sports betting is like DraftKings and everything now. So, but yeah, it's a great action flick. We got those great one-liners, and Bruce Willis is always is awesome in the movie. He was at his peak there doing movies like that. And he does dance a little jig at the end of the movie because that's when he says, if I make it through this, I'm gonna dance a jig. After he kills the guy, he starts dancing on, and everybody's looking, what the hell's going on? The Last Boy Scout, Tim Hayes, The Last Boy Scout. Yeah, it was $650 on pants. He spent because he goes, those leather pants. Yeah, how much those cost you? $650. I could buy a house for that or a car for that. It's great because they do have a great chemistry, and it's written by Shane Black, who did Lethal Weapon. Yeah, Lethal Weapon actually. His Daniel Harris is watching Lethal Weapon in the movie when they come into the house. So yeah, but no, it's got a bit of a Lethal Weapon vibe to it between the two and everything. And no, I just felt like watching it. And it was good. It was a good time. I did not watch Last Man Standing. I've never really liked that movie, to be honest with you.
Nah, it's a crappy remake.
I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. I love it.
I don't want to ruin your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday night is a great night for football.
Bill Medley did that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and which is funny is like I
probably did, but forgot.
The reason I watched this, though, honestly, is because they did have a Friday night football game. It was like the first Friday night football game ever for the NFL, or at least in like 20 years or something like that. And they said, somebody posted, the NFL can do the funniest thing. And they posted that intro. And I was like, I have not seen The Last Boy Scout in years. I'm going to watch that.
Awesome if they did.
So, yeah, that would have been awesome. But yeah, that was my first pick, The Last Boy Scout. I wish it had, I wish it had its own Blu-ray or a new 4K of its own, because it's one that definitely, it's a Tony Scott film.
It's probably just a matter of time. Warner owns it. I'm sure it's a fairly well-known film.
Yeah, so. I remember it doing pretty well.
Yeah, it did all right.
It deserves.
Basically, got to stick Last Man Standing with it just to sell that film. So. No offense to anybody who likes it. It was one of the. I was so like, what the. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah, that's what I mean, Steven. Like, I get it. People like it. I know some people do dig it. I'm just like, this is like one of the most unnecessary films I've ever seen in my life. And it feels very pretentious. And I haven't seen it in like 35 years or however long since
Yeah,
it's
it's
come
been a
out.
long,
So,
long time. So
yeah.
I'd just rather watch Last Boy Scout.
I mean, I
No,
might eventually, but
yeah. Venobyte, it does have it's a on
that's the
disc.
only Blu-ray though. But
Yeah,
it's
it's
a double feature.
double feature
Yeah,
like that, but it doesn't have a single Blu-ray.
kind of like Grumpy and Grumpier Old Men
Yeah, yeah.
and
They
Scooby Doo and Scooby Doo 2.
and Time Cop and I think Bloodsport, is it Bloodsport and Time Cop or
Yeah, which is weird how Warner
Yeah.
Brothers wound up with Time Cop.
yeah.
Because Universal released that originally, but yeah, I think it's because of the company that owns it. But yeah,
Yeah. What's up, Bronson? He says, "How are
'cause
you
I think
guys?"
it's that same company that made those
What is it?
Wes Craven movies. We talked about one of them last week.
Oh yeah, Shocker.
Yeah, I think it is. Like Largo Entertainment or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because because they were talking about it because they were some music company that was getting into making movies, and they had like 4 or 5 movies I think or something like that, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird. Yeah, but I do hope that I do hope the Last Boy Scout can get some love before Bruce Willis. It is one of his better movies from that time period, so I liked it, and it's a fun watch. It's just one of those over the top '90s action flicks that's just you smile when you watch it.
Yeah.
You just do. You just do. Bronson says, "How are you guys doing this evening?" I asked the other people this question on other live streams. Where do you hope to see your channel at in 5 years?
On YouTube.
Yes, I do. I do hope to at least still be on YouTube. I do hope to. I do hope to finally
After yesterday, that is at least a good thing that'll probably stick around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Go ahead. I was going.
I don't want to get political. I was just going to say, if a certain person won, Lord knows they would have come down on a lot of us for.
Yeah, they might have. They might have. But I do hope to finally be past 10,000 subscribers, which I'm working on. And I'm hoping to have built up a really good fan base amongst all the awesome people out there in the chat and people watching. And,
Actually, Steven might be right, because I think Time Cop and Hard Target are both Universal Target titles.
Is it?
I'm not so sure, because Hard Target, I think, might be in one of my 5-packs.
No, yeah, I have the Time Cop and Bloodsport Blu-ray. I have that.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you're right. It's Bloodsport.
I know Bloodsport's got its own. It's got a 4. Was that
I remember pulling it out to compare it to the 4K when I did it, like, what was it, a year ago?
Yeah. I know they did the 4-pack, like you said. I know they did a 4-pack at one point. But no,
There's
yeah.
like a 4 and 5-pack of, like, Van Damme movies.
Yeah, like a bunch of them. But yeah, I saw that and I had a hankering for that. And it's funny that like you see that Billy Blanks is the guy in the beginning that pulls out the gun and shoots everybody on the field and then shoots himself. So for those of you who don't know, Billy Blanks is a Taibo guy, but he was also a martial artist and he was in a lot of those 90s martial art films too. So, but yeah, there you guys have it. There's my first pick of the night. Tom, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and go to you.
Boy, I could go with either one of my titles at this point. They would bounce off pretty well off yours, honestly.
Do the one that feels right.
I don't know how to do this right now. You know what? Since we just brought it up, and it's kind of a similar subject of sorts, and I don't think there's any connections with that one in the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a movie I had never seen before, believe it or not. Managed to escape me for about 16 years, give or take. And it's kind of ironic, considering what it's about, that I watched it of all nights. Was it last night or the night before? I can't remember which. But anyway, leading up to the events of last night, and the events that got us there to a point. If you know anything about the movie, it is Mark Wahlberg in Shooter.
Yes.
About a assassination attempt on the president. And the political espionage thriller that it is. So yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I was kind of surprised. I don't know how it kind of just skated past me. But no, the story's pretty interesting. Mark Wahlberg is a former sharpshooter who was abandoned by his government during a operation that was off the books. And yeah, so a couple years later, they come knocking on his door because they know that there's going to be an assassination attempt on the president. And they need a sharpshooter to help figure out where this possible threat could come from, only for him to be set up
Yeah.
for killing the president of a foreign nation. I can't remember which nation it was offhand, but I think it was Africa, because that's where, because it was Africa's where, because it all leads back to this other stuff, and I don't want to give too much away, because it is a really interesting political thriller. Danny Glover's in it, yep. Young Michael Pena's in it. Anton Fuqua was the director. So, I mean, it's very well directed, good paced,
It's
interesting
not bad.
story, intriguing. Mark Wahlberg delivers. And the 4K looks pretty good from what I could tell. I mean, it's a newer film, so, I mean, looks good.
Yeah. I remember it. It's been a little bit since I've seen it, but I remember it. I do. It's a pretty solid like thriller action type movie. So, and if I remember correctly, the woman that played his wife played Sue Storm in Fantastic Four Stick.
Well, it wasn't his wife, but it was his former partner's wife.
And former partner's wife. Okay, yeah. It's
well, they
like
eventually do get together, but yeah.
Yeah. I remember at least they do get together. And speaking of this, Steven, they actually, I don't know if you know this, but they did turn this into a TV series starring what is his name? He was married to Reese Witherspoon. Ryan something.
Oh, Ryan Phillippe?
Ryan Phillippe. Yeah, they turned it into a TV series on the USA Network starring him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so.
No, I mean, it must not have done that well at the time to warrant a sequel. Otherwise, I'm sure it would have gotten one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But no, actually, it was a limited. I don't think they ever came out with a regular 4K release of this. I think it's only been available in this limited steelbook, and I picked this up in the reprint or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it's available anymore, guys.
I was gonna say, wasn't it like a Best Buy? Well,
I think originally it was, and then they did they did a rerun for Amazon a little while back, and I got it for pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It was like on sale on top of it all, so yeah. So they might have some left. I don't know, but no,
I bet you could probably get it on Groove or something.
If not, yeah, somewhere probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Eli Cortez is great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Casey Jones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Especially when what's her face fucking shoots his ass. Yeah, no, this is a pretty good movie. It comes from the time where she's like, oh god, I wish they still made movies like this.
Yeah. Right before everything turned.
Is there? Okay, I wasn't sure, Victor. I thought initially it only had a exclusive steelbook release, but yeah. All right, well, there you go, Victor. Maybe that's who I got it from. Maybe I got it from Walmart. I might not even have got it from Amazon. I know I got it pretty cheap. I was like, oh, I've never seen this. Mark Wahlberg? Fuck it.
Yeah. I mean, he surprises you sometimes. Like, everybody thinks like, oh, it's Mark Wahlberg. Like, but then, I like Mark Wahlberg too. It's like sometimes when you watch him, he's like, he does good stuff. He does good stuff.
I like his new movie too, the Family Plan one. I thought that was pretty good. It's on Apple Plus, but
I haven't seen. Is that where he's well, I don't have Apple Plus, but is that where he's like a spy or something?
He's a former spy or whatever, but he's like, he's got a family now, and all of a sudden, like years later, he's been reenacted or whatever because something's happening, and so it's like he has to plan this. He goes on this family trip to hide the fact that he's got to do this mission, and it's. Comedy ensues. It has a very family vacation, National Lampoon's Vacation kind of vibe to it in a way, but meets like Lethal Weapon or something like that. Your basic cool. 80s, 90s action film. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a return to some of those movies.
It'd be nice if Apple would release those on physical media.
That's what I'm saying, because I don't have that.
Tetris was one of the best fucking movies of last year, and nobody's seen it for that very fucking reason.
Yep.
And Wolves was one of the better movies of this year. At least I have more fun films anyway, I would say. Not better films, but it was a lot of fun. That's one with George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Well,
but I recommend it. Go for it.
Okay. Cool. I'll have to get back to that again. I have not seen Shooter in a while. So, but all right, I guess we'll go on to me.
What you got?
I visited. Speaking of the '80s, because I've been visiting the 80s and 90s lately. I watched Weird Science.
Oh shit, I've been wanting to
Weird
watch that one.
Science. This is such a fun movie, and it's so weird. It truly is just a weird.
You know what's really weird
movie.
is Arrow in that fucking case. What
Right?
the fuck?
What's up, Aaron? What's up with that? At least
No. Did you feel it?
oh
It's
yeah,
like,
the way yeah.
it's like a weird rubbery feeling.
Yeah. Oh, I hate when that slides off and wants to pinch. But yeah, there's
No, the case looks fine. I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about how it feels. I was just like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. No, but I mean, like when you pull it off and then you're trying to slide it back on without ripping
And
the plastic.
the other one that does that is it has the same kind of feel to it as The Last Starfighter.
Oh yeah, it does. I was gonna say I got the little booklet. I didn't have the.
No, I did preview that one though, and of course it looks amazing because Arrow.
Yeah, I watched the what do you call it version, the extended cut of the movie, which I had never seen before, which is not much difference really, just 2 additional scenes, and they are mastered in high definition for the movie. But no, you're right. It does look great. It looks good. Cadero does good work. Kelly LeBrock is still smoking freaking hot. Anthony Michael Hall is hilarious, especially when they go to the bar and they get him drunk. He's like, he starts talking in his black
Ebonics.
Yeah, Ebonics. I was trying to figure out the word for it, and he's like,
Or
man,
actually, it's more like old, blues soul kind of.
Yeah, because it was like a jazz like scatman bar type
Yeah, there
thing.
you go. That's
Yeah.
what it was,
Like, they used to be this girl. I was in love. You know what she did to me? She know what she did to me. She kicked. Well, actually, she says she called me the F word that we can't say no more on YouTube at least, and then kicked me in the
What?
balls.
It's fine. I say it all the time.
All the time, you said. Well, I figured I didn't know people still was saying it on YouTube now because I know they're saying it everywhere else. You know what I mean.
The F word too much. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that other one?
The other one, not
oh,
that.
yeah. No, I've said that one too, but yeah.
I was gonna say not that one.
Sparingly, very sparingly.
He's like, man, she kicked me in my balls. No, she didn't. Oh yeah, he's like, you know, she had these big old titties. Oh, do you talk about the girl with the big old titties? He's so drunk. He's got this cigar. He's great. Anthony Michael Hall is great in this movie, and then other guy's great too. And then Bill Paxton, of course, is amazing. And the dickhead brother who just keeps picking on him, and just like his laugh and how annoying and gross he is. Of course, you know, with the shit monster, looks great. The puppet looks great in that. Then they create Kelly LeBrock, who's basically like a genie, and she's there. She's smoking hot. I mean, I don't know about you, but if like he wants her to do a gymnastic routines and she was going to bang him and he falls asleep, I would have went for that, man. I wouldn't have fell asleep, but the whole point of the movie is that's not why she was there anyways. She wasn't there to do that with him. But it was fun movie, and it's interesting to see Robert Downey Jr. in that movie when he was really young and before he fixed his teeth and before he became who he became. And then Robert Russler is in it as the other bully who constantly picks on him. Oh yeah, and the chick, like, it took me forever because I'm like, I know this blonde girl, the blonde girl that Anthony Michael Hall falls in love with. Like, I know this blonde girl. I know her. Who is she? She's the chick from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. She's the one in that movie. And then the other girl, yeah, I didn't know, because like her hair's straight and it's really blonde, and she's young. She looks really young, but I'm like, I know this chick. Where do I know this chick from? And then I looked her up and I was like, it's the chick from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And then the other girl, the other guy falls in love with, is from Friday the 13th Part 4. She's one of the victims in that movie. I was like, I knew her too. So as I recognized her. And then yes, Vernon Wells
is in it. Yep.
Yes, he's awesome in it. He's like, I heard you two couldn't even take a shower with her, and you did it in your jeans. They make fun of him, and then you have to pull out the gun on him and everything. It's great. And then that one guy, oh my God, what's his name? The bald guy. He's like he's in everything. Hills Have Eyes and all that. He was in The Crow. All the scenes from The Crow have been cut out.
Oh, I can't think of his name, but I know what you're talking
Yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about. It's like after they threaten him and after they stand up to him, he's like, "Please don't tell anybody. I got a teaching job. I can't afford to lose it." And he's got on a dirt bike and he's like the Mad Max and they're tearing up the house. It's great.
about.
Oh, it's such a great movie. I mean, it's just
I
got
haven't
that.
watched it in a while.
Yeah, it's just one of those like 80s movies. Like
I've
John
hovered
Hughes was
around
just,
it, but
yeah, John
go
Hughes
ahead.
was just throwing shit at the wall and it just like was landing.
Well, it's basically a comedy version of Frankenstein, but yeah.
Yep. Because they actually watched Frankenstein in the movie before they just said
Yeah.
that's where they get the idea to
It's
make a
alive.
woman. Yeah, it's like,
Weird
hey, we could
science.
do that. We could make that. You just put it on your computer.
Yeah, back when computers were just magical and they could do anything.
Yeah. So people had such high hopes for computers,
I
didn't
know,
they?
right? Oh, movies ruined that shit for years with me and my dad when we first got computers. He's like, well, can you just make it do this? It's like, no, Dad, you have to be like,
Yeah.
wow, that's dumb. It should be able to just do that. It's like, well, you have to be able to do this and this and this first, and
Yeah.
then you can do that.
It gets me too because I'm like they ruined it for me in the sense like I would just be like getting on computer the keyboard at times and I'll just go, I'm hacking the
God, yeah.
Pentagon.
I love that. Yeah, it's like either hackers when they just come up and it's like, oh man, this is like a 12-point security system.
Yeah,
I think I
I'm
can get
hacking
through
it right
And
now. We're
Okay,
in.
I'm
You
in.
guys want to know who really killed
I
JFK?
know, sir. That's it. It's all it takes is to get it. Yep, we're in.
But no, it's a great movie. Yes, Weird Science. That's a great song, opening song from there. I had fun with it, man. I had not seen it in years. It was always one of my, it's not like the favorite of John Hughes movies, but I
No,
love the
but
movie. It's just
fun.
a blast to watch. I forgot there was actually tits in the movie. It's PG-13. I forgot there's that PG-13 tits in the movie.
Yeah, you can get away with that. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was Kelly LeBrock's, but at least they showed some.
Boobs
mean,
boobs.
Yeah, boobs are boobs. But no, it was great. It was great. Yeah, the guy that played, I do know that the guy that played Wyatt, he went on to become a professor, and he left that behind him. And he's like, I did see where he says like sometimes his students will come up to him and say, "My mom said she really likes your work." He's like, I know what she's talking about. And like he said, the kids don't know until he tells them.
Bryant, what happened to Anthony Michael Hall? Well, he's still working.
Yeah,
He was just recently in these.
Evil Dies Tonight.
Yeah.
He was in I don't know if you watched it, but I watched the show. I liked the show. Actually I own the whole series, matter of fact. Dead Zone. He did the Dead Zone TV series for years.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, for 6 years.
Yeah, that's right. He was the one who kept screaming, "Evil dies tonight."
Yeah, Evil Dies Tonight.
He's a little Tommy Doyle.
Yeah. He was in The Dark Knight.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, he was in The Dark Knight. So yeah. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. He was kidnapped.
Oh yeah, he's still around.
Yeah, he still does stuff.
He's just old now, Bryant.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't had the career that Downey Jr. has.
No,
but he's had a career. I mean, he's never really just sort of just disappeared like
he just
some
kind
of
of
them.
melded into the background as a good character actor, and like you said, he had the Dead Zone show for a while.
Yeah, the Dead Zone TV show, and he was
yeah. No, he's done fine for himself.
Yeah. Most of them have kind of stopped, other than and then you know what else is a good movie with him and Downey Jr. Johnny Be Good. Speaking of football movies. That's not a bad movie. But no, yeah.
You know, I've never actually seen it, but I have the soundtrack.
It's not bad. I mean, can't say it's the greatest, but Uma Thurman's in it. Plays his girlfriend. And how often do you get to see a movie where Anthony Michael Hall is the star over Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Downey Jr. is a sidekick in the movie? So, I mean, it's not a bad movie, but I wouldn't say it's like the great. I mean, there's a reason it probably doesn't have like
it's like a
big
mid to upper level, but not like great John Hughes film. But I mean, as far as it's a very well beloved classic 80s film. It's one of those movies when you think of the 80s, it's definitely in the same breath of things like Footloose and shit like that. So
yeah,
16 Candles and Pretty in Pink.
Yep. It's a good movie. It's fun. It's I mean, it's just one of those times. I do miss movies like this where they tried to be
Yeah.
creative and make something like, let's do a teen comedy where they
Well, it's
create
very
this
high
girl.
concept. Yeah. In that
Yeah,
respect.
yeah. So like, it's fun. It's fun. I do miss movies like that.
A
in that
movie you
way.
could not make now. That's for sure.
Oh, God, no. Two 17-year-old boy. Well, they were supposed to be 15 in the movie, but like
Yeah.
they were like 17, 18 in real life.
Yeah.
But like they make a woman to have sex with.
Mhm.
So, what's it though? That I will admit that is a little weird in the movies, like because like when she starts making out with the Wyatt character and he's like 15 and she's supposed to be 23. So that is
Well,
that
she's
does
not
get
even technically real, but
yeah,
or
technically
whatever,
she's
but
not
yeah.
real. She's like a genie or something. But I mean, and they were of legal age. They were of legal age. The guys were, but it was kind of weird. But other than that, it's a fun movie. It's a good movie. But
Indeed.
yeah, and Arrow, as always, does great work. The set is loaded with all kinds of new stuff. You even get the TV cut of the movie. You get the theatrical cut. You get the extended cut.
I think I buzzed more through the TV cut when I checked it out
Yeah.
than I did anything, just to see a few things.
You
but
get
yeah.
the interviews and all that. So yeah, I'd say it's worth it if you guys want to pick it up. It's definitely worth it.
Oh yeah, Arrow went out for that one.
Yeah, all out on.
Definitely. Which sucked because it sucked for me because I bought the steelbook for it just before that came out too.
Well, Arrow doesn't do that too often, but they do that.
No. Well, and it was one I just kind of staggered on, and I think I caught the steelbook on a sale, so it wasn't like a big deal. But
Yeah,
I think it's still got the steelbook in plastic though.
might be able to
Never
sell
know.
it for something.
Never know.
Steven did
Alright.
find his Van Damme box set, Time Cop, Hard Target, Street Fighter, and The Quest. There you go.
That's
All right.
I don't-
You do your next pick, and then we'll do the final pick together.
Yeah. All right. Well, this one was fun. It's a bit batshit crazy. But it was a movie I wasn't even aware of till I saw it on Diabolic DVD. And it was an early film. In fact, I believe it's the first feature film. I know it's definitely the only Chinese film that
Oh yeah.
Brandon Lee made called Legacy of Rage. And yeah, it's
Is it good? Is it bad? There's a reason it was kept away from us all these years.
Nah, I mean, the only thing wrong with it
Mm-hmm.
is it feels like half the movie has been cut out. Like it's one of those movies where it's only 88 minutes long, and there's at the same time, I'm not so sure that's the case because it feels like an old school kung fu film like his dad would have made.
Mm-hmm.
Very much in that vein. So basically he's God, I'm trying to remember. So I watched this almost a week ago now. Because I'm trying to remember what Brandon Lee's character does. He's just a regular guy with a job. And he has his girlfriend and stuff like that. So like it starts out, because he's like got two jobs, and he's so he can try and buy a motorcycle. And he's got this friend, right? And his friend is like in all this skeezy like drug dealing and all this shit, but of course he's got Brandon all bamboozled, and he's always hitting on his woman and shit like that and trying to get with her. And so this is a crazy ass movie, so it's gonna take me a long time to explain all this.
Go for it.
What's strange is they managed to cram all this in 88 minutes. And if you actually see the movie, the way they cut it, it's like, man, these guys are either geniuses or just fucking, they don't care.
And they crammed it all in there.
Because you're just sitting here going like, I understand what's going on, but I feel like there's a whole scene that was missing there. But it doesn't fucking matter because this scene just explained what happened. Don't fucking care. Keep moving.
Just go for it.
So you see like the reaction of something else that happened, and it's like you're up to speed, but you're just like, that really feels like there should have been a scene there to kind of set that up, but fuck it. We're going with it. So anyway, oh my God. So the whole thing is his friend, who's being pressured by this corrupt cop, his friend sets him up for the murder of this cop.
Oh no.
okay, through this strange kind of like plan. And so Brandon then goes to prison for 8 fucking years.
Damn.
And it feels like 10 fucking minutes. And honestly, you wouldn't even question it. You'd be like, wow, he got out pretty quick considering he got 8 years. But he has a kid while he's on the inside because she's got pregnant before he went in. And so she's had the kid, and the mother, who was being chased down by the bad guy, gets married to this old guy who's can't get it up anymore for protection and raises the kid as his own. And so Brandon doesn't even know it's his kid until he gets out, and he just gets out and he doesn't do anything. It's like, I'm wondering, like, how did they shoot this movie? Did they not have a script?
We're
And they just like, you know, like, okay, I remember this happened before, so just do this time. Okay, now you're doing this. And you're doing it because, like, he makes a friend in prison. And since he's a guy who killed a cop, like, the prisoners treat him pretty good. But, of course, all the other guys hate him. But then you find out that there's this one guy who asked a favor of the guard. Like I'm saying, you get all this information in, like, one little flash quick scene that didn't set anything up before. Because all of a sudden, like, 30 minutes into the movie or 45 minutes into the movie, because you have, like, this one guy that works for the prison who's rough on him, but he doesn't beat him up.
Mm-hmm.
And he also kind of is like, okay, is he kind of liking him now? Does he, like, believe him, or what's the deal here? Because you're like, if this motherfucker shot a cop as far as they're concerned, he's the lowest rung of the lowest rung besides a diddler in there as far as the guards are concerned, you know? So, like, and even to them, it probably is a lower rung in some cases. And this guy's being kind of nice to him, so you're, like, trying to figure it out. Well, then you find out, like I said, like 45 minutes into the movie, that this friend of a friend asked a favor to him to be nice to him and keep an eye on him. And it's like,
nice.
Okay. And he escapes only to get caught by this guy who saves his ass basically by not telling that he's trying to escape. And that's when you kind of figure this all out, because the next thing after that is where he's meeting up with the guy just randomly. So this is kind of the way the movie goes. It's like, okay, I get what's going on, but whoever cobbled this script together, it is convoluted as fuck. So then he gets out of prison, like I said, and he's just working. He doesn't even go to bother try to find his wife.
Yeah, I don't need her or the kid.
None of that shit. Just goes back to work. She shows up one day to see him with the kid, and you'd think he would have figured it out, but he doesn't.
Oh, you got a kid. Cool. 8 years later.
So yeah, at that point, he's like, yeah, no, I can't talk to you now. See ya. It's like, that's all he says to her. And it's like, and then when he finally figures it out, then he goes into full-on revenge mode. Because then finally everybody tells him what the fuck is going on. Like, his friend fucking set him up and all this other shit. And so then the last 20 minutes of the movie is just basically what you've been waiting for the whole time.
Oh, the big fight action.
Brandon Lee just going ape shit crazy on all the bad guys. Exactly. Yeah. And you got Michael Wong in here, and you got Lam Chung, and so there's people you would actually recognize from like some of these films, and even newer American films that they moved over into. And I mean, the action sequences are fucking great.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the movie is fairly well put together, like technically wise, but story wise, character wise, editing wise, it is a fucking atrocious mess, but I love it.
It's just perfect. It's batshit perfect.
It's full of explosions, blood, just and Brandon Lee just, oh god, we got fucking robbed.
Oh man,
he has his dad's charisma, and then some.
He did. You could tell he was on the verge, man. The Crow was going to make him huge.
Because you know, Brandon, he was different than his dad, and Bruce was Bruce.
Yeah,
Bruce had this mythical thing about him. Brandon is very relatable, and you like him, and you root for him, and he's that underdog kind of character, and he's a gee golly gosh lovable guy.
Yeah,
just,
he did.
He's got that about him that you just want to go, God, go get him, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like even from like the one with Dolph Lundgren, and then of course Rapid Fire. He's got
Yeah.
that like clean cut, like you just want to root for this dude type of attitude.
Yeah, and he's got that twinkle in his eye that you're just like, and he doesn't remind you of his dad so much because he's so much of his own person, but he's living, even it's like he didn't care about living in his dad's shadow, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And it's this movie really is like kind of him at his most rawest and like his earliest. I don't know if this is his first movie, but it's one of his first. I know that it's the only one he did outside the U.S. So.
Mm-hmm. It's insane. I might have to pick that one up now.
I
have to
think
pick that one up now.
Didn't maybe wasn't this one that Kino said they might be doing sooner? I thought I saw someone was putting it out in the U.S. because this is an impulse. So keep this in mind. Yeah,
Is this
so if you didn't
Terracotta?
notice,
Is this Terracotta or 88?
it is 88, so
Okay.
it is Region B, so you can't watch it on a regular player.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. So keep in mind, I think somebody might be releasing this. It is kind of a wonky. It looks okay. It's not great, but it's like, whatever. Considering the age of the film, 93, 4, whatever it is, or no, not even that old. 80 or not? It's older than that. 86. That's what I was thinking. That would have been the year The Crow came out.
That might have been his first movie then, because
I think it is.
Because he only did he did Showdown in Little Tokyo, Rapid Fire, and The Crow. I think was just like only three American.
And Showdown,
movies,
I believe, was his first American film, and I think that would be either the same year or the year after this, or something like that. Because what year was that? 87, 86, 88, somewhere in there. This is 86.
Showdown in Little 91. 1991 is Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Or maybe that one was. When was Rapid Fire?
See, Rapid Fire. I remember Rapid Fire being in
thought that was the one in between
92. Rapid Fire was
okay,
92.
so I was right. All right.
Yeah. Laser Mission? Is that one? Did he do that? Oh, okay. He did a movie called Laser Mission.
I'm not aware of that one.
I never heard of that one either myself.
Interesting. Yeah, he was in the Kung Fu TV movie, but I don't think he was in the series.
Yeah. Which is funny because I always remember that from the Dragon the Bruce Lee story. Kung Fu, we're going to do Kung Fu, and then what's his name got it.
Yeah, and that's one of the sad true stories.
Yeah.
He got screwed over on that one.
He did. Yeah, I mean, he could have did Neo in the Matrix. He very well.
He was supposed to.
Yeah, he was.
It was technically written for him or whatever. Yeah.
Man, it sucks. I mean, like seriously, you think about what he could be he could have Keanu Reeves' career.
He could be John Wick. Yeah.
Yeah, he could have been John Wick. Just
you could imagine that, like The Crow playing John Wick.
I mean,
it would have been like this perfect bookend of his career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the movie that put him on the map, and they have a very similar, that Death Wish.
At least the first John Wick. I'd hate to see him have to go through the sequels.
He'd still be falling down the stairs.
Oh, this part 4 was so fucking bad.
I still haven't watched it. I almost did the other night, and I'm like, nope.
I don't understand how so many people praise part 4. Look, part 2 and 3, you can say they're video game type things, and not to get in all this, but there's something I can enjoy about part 2 and 3, even if they're not nowhere near the level of the first one. The first one is an amazing movie, but the people that say part 4 is awesome, it's so fucking dumb. He falls down the steps twice. It's just they ruin his character in that fourth movie. They ruin him so bad. World building. I tell you what, sometimes world building can be a bad thing, especially when it's at the expense of your main character. Anyways, but no, could you imagine like if he was the Crow and then John Wick? That would have been honestly. That almost feels like that first one could have been written for him, because I know the first movie was supposed to be like a Clint Eastwood type guy. Because he was supposed to be a lot older, and then Keanu Reeves came in and was like, no, this is what we're going for.
Not only that, can you imagine the Eli Roth Death Wish remake with him instead?
Oh, yeah. That would have been great.
Although it's just as
maybe
bad
not
as
Eli
Brandon,
Roth, but
well, that's who did it. But I mean, I don't hate that movie. It's not the worst remake. It's just kind of like he could have done more.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a little bit missed of opportunity. And Bruce Willis was just miscast. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, it was tough enough to believe, Charles Bronson, but he pulled it off.
Mm-hmm.
because he's really good at the nebbish kind of like, you can kind of believe at first that yeah, he is this pencil pushing geek, and then he just goes over the edge.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of what you need is somebody like Brandon, especially when Brandon was scrawnier. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
you could have believed it, but I don't know. It kind of maybe it would have fell in that same range, but whatever.
I guess. I mean, we've seen Bruce Willis kick ass so much times. It's like
I feel like there's some weird alternate universe, and I don't know why. I always had it in my head that I felt like somebody like Samuel Jackson would have done great in like a Death Wish remake.
Oh, I'd believe that. I could believe that. Yeah.
Because he's somebody who could go from the one to the other range.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Samuel Jackson and Kane, what do you mean you're just gonna walk the earth? I'm just gonna walk the earth. You mean like Kane in Kung Fu?
Yeah.
They have a word for that, Jules. It's called a bum. Okay.
But you're not really wrong, because Samuel L. Jackson can go from being like that in Pulp Fiction to like being a nebbish type of guy. It's crazy.
I think he could pull it off. For some reason, in my head, I just if I ever remake it, for some reason, I was like, I would love to just see Samuel Jackson in that role for some reason. I don't know why. It just always stuck with me. I don't know why. Just did.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to go completely against type. And I don't know who would do it.
Yeah.
But Bruce Willis just wasn't the right choice for that. Because he's too much of an action star. You might as well cast Arnold Schwarzenegger at that point. Or Sylvester Stallone.
I mean, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And Ron, I understand that you're saying it's supposed to be a funny sequence, but it's completely out of place in the movie. And it makes me take the character of John Wick, who killed a guy with a fucking pencil, and go, well, what the fuck? He supposedly killed all these people, and he can't even walk up a set of stairs and kill a bunch of people that it doesn't make sense, because the whole point of the first movie is the foundation of where they all built that on is like he killed I don't know how many dudes in one night, and he can't even go up a flight of steps while they're shooting at him.
I'm more like by the third film, I'm just like, this dude has been doing this for like 3 days straight now.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna have to hopefully get this if they make another version of this for the US. I think I want to pick this up. I think I want to pick this one up because you sold.
Yeah, I hope they do a US version, but yeah, it's definitely a fun time. It's very reminiscent of the old classic Bruce Lee films.
Yeah,
I could very much have seen Bruce doing it too, as far as that goes when he was young.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very similar kind of tone and storyline. It's just, yeah. It's your typical action thriller. And I mean, it's got some twists and turns to it. Stuff you don't exactly necessarily always suspect will happen, but it's just like, oh, shit. Like, yeah. Like, all right.
Sounds like a fun one. Sounds like fun.
We're our last pick here now.
Do you want me to show mine off first?
Go ahead. You probably have the same one I do, I think.
Yeah, I do. So it's the last pick of the night, guys. I'm going to pop this up here. I have Trick or Treat. This is cover C. So I think you said you got cover C.
Yes, I got cover C as well. Yeah.
It is the best cover. I don't know.
I think that one was the one that sold out right away. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like that cover.
Actually, I want to thank Diabolic right now. Actually, real quick, because I had that one in my cart, and as I was checking out, it sold out.
Oh.
And then, so I emailed them. I'm like, I'm kind of upset, like I had the damn thing in my cart. And then by the time I turned around, it's also, and then of course, that was also, they crashed. And because I tried first to get it, then I tried to get it from the website from Synapse. They crashed, as we all know, which is a good problem to have. But they made sure everybody got their orders in, because there was 6,666 of these made.
Yep.
And Diabolic made sure I got cover C, even though they were technically sold out.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I got mine.
I emailed them and told them what happened.
I managed to get mine through quick. I did. I didn't have any problems. I got it real quick. Got it there. But my biggest problem was my post office was supposed to deliver mine last Saturday, and I didn't get it till Tuesday. I had to go up there and get it from them.
Did you get it from Diabolic or Synapse?
I got it from Orbit DVD.
Oh, you got it from Orbit.
Orbit, because I typically get mine quicker. I love Diabolic. I do order from, but I typically get mine quicker from Orbit than I do Diabolic. So
Diabolic, I average about 2 days.
See, I average about 2 days with Orbit, but when I do Diabolic, it takes
Orbit's
about
pretty quick
5
though
days.
too.
It takes about 5 days for
Groove and
Diabolic.
Orbit and Diabolic are my 3 main go-tos anymore besides Amazon, but Amazon's been hit and miss lately. But yeah.
If you missed this Venobyte, you're not getting it.
I think they're all
gone.
I think they're all gone now. That's right. They did announce they're all gone.
Synapse just announced they're all gone. But yes,
they are doing the single disc version, or I don't know if it's going to have all 3 discs in it, or if it's just going to be.
It's just going to be probably the 4K and the Blu-ray.
That would be my guess, because this has the 4K, the Blu-ray, and the soundtrack.
Yeah. Which I'm gonna go ahead and open up for you guys. If you says, there's the box, and this is also just Synapse, by the way. Red Shirt Pictures there, Michael Felsher. It's in production with him, so it's not just all Synapse. But we'll go ahead and show you that. I did reverse the cover because I've always liked this cover from Trick or Treat. Now before we get
the video cover.
Oh, you did. Have you ever seen this one before, Till?
No.
Oh no. Okay, so I always liked this cover for some reason. I don't know why. I reversed it because it was on the other side, but
I
that's
just kept the regular one.
Yeah, and then there's the 4K, there's the Blu-ray. I haven't even opened the postcards yet. I haven't.
Me either. No.
Yeah, I would go through them, and maybe I will.
There's a poster and a
book, and then there's the CD.
Book yet.
Man, the soundtrack. I don't know how you felt about it, but I absolutely love the soundtrack. Fastway.
I have it already. I don't know if it's the same or because the one I had only had like 9 tracks on it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many tracks are on this one.
9. There's 9 tracks.
Oh, then it's the same exact one.
Yeah, it's by Fastway.
Yeah. Just a reprint.
The nice little booklet here.
Yeah, because I want to find out who did Scream Until You Like It. I heard it in the background. I'm like, wait a minute. That's Scream Until You Like It, but it doesn't sound like Wasp.
It's Fastway is the band Fastway did every song in the movie.
Every single song? I don't know if that one's even on the soundtrack. I don't know if it is. Because it's in the background in the Gene Simmons scene, and that's the song from Ghoulies 2 that Wasp did.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the same song, but it's not them singing it, so I think Fastway did it first, because this would have been the year or two before, I'm
pretty sure, because, Fastway does all the whole songs in it. And, this is the second poster next to the Nightmare on Elm Street one that I'm really thinking about framing.
Now, that's the one I have up on my, that's the one I remember from a kid is, because, that was like a holy grail for us when we were kids, because it was a movie that went missing in our video stores all the time, and we never got a chance to see it. And my buddy was like a huge Kiss fan,
right?
So being that when it's one of the few films that has Gene Simmons in it, it was always a holy grail film for him. So
but go ahead and put you up there.
You already kind of showed it.
Well, you can just show off yours real quick.
I just had the other.
I don't know. There you go. I didn't watch the special features yet. There you go.
I started watching the making of, but it's like a feature length. It's like hour and 20 minutes, and I fell asleep in the middle of it. But,
I was going to say, because I don't know if they bring it up.
Look wise and sound wise, this is a beautiful disc. Synapse usually does a pretty good job. Looks great, sounds great. They did a new 5.1 mix that actually I thought was pretty much comparable to the 2.0 mix. It's a little bit different, but not much. Now the movie itself is weird. It is basically like somebody said, like, let's take Halloween 3 and mash it with Nightmare on Elm Street.
And see, we got a little bit of Shocker in there.
And before Shocker, that's the weird thing I was going to say. And it feels like this almost inspired Shocker in a weird way. But now this is actually a much better film than Shocker.
I agree with you on that. Yes.
The only problem with it is about halfway through when the weird thing is when spoilers, when Sammy Carr kind of comes into the movie is when it kind of goes a little, okay, by the numbers, I guess, unless it's not horrible though. It's a decent enough film for the 80s slasher genre. I can tell why it's a cult favorite classic. I mean, I both liked it and disliked things about it at the same time, but no, I thought it was pretty good overall for the most part. I just thought the Sammy Carr, when he came in, it was just kind of like, I I was kind of following the kid a little bit more, and he kind of got pushed aside a little bit. It felt like there, but I mean, he's still the hero. But
yeah. I mean, I dug the movie. I like the movie. Of course, I've seen it before and stuff like that. So maybe since I knew it and grew up on it a little more.
Yeah,
so
if I grew up on it, I'm sure it would be a little bit more different.
Yeah.
I definitely would have loved this as a young adult or kid or whatever seeing it. But as an adult now, just seeing it I'd give it about a 6 or 7. Okay. Is it like great?
That's not bad.
No, like I love Gene Simmons in it. Like him playing like the DJ, the Wolfman DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of question, is he like the devil?
Yeah.
And I guess from what I saw in the making of, that whole thing was kind of not meant to be there.
Yeah,
it just kind of was a happy accident.
Well,
the way it was just the way that Gene portrayed the character, and then the director and stuff like that, and the writer were like, well, that was kind of cool because now you have that question of, is he like the devil, or is he just being a nice guy to this kid?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting now that you say it. But I do remember Gene Simmons. He's actually in the In Search of Darkness Part 3. They talk about this.
Because notice he's like not even there at the end, right?
Yeah, like they don't show him again. But he said he was
because they only had him for one day of shooting.
Yeah, for 1 day. He was actually offered the role of Sammy Kerr, and he turned it down.
He didn't want to do it.
He said he'd rather be.
He wanted to be
DJ.
the Wolfman.
So they had him for the 1 day. So no, you're right. Now that I've actually never thought about that until just now, that Gene Simmons could have very well been the devil in the movie that passed the.
Well, the way he plays it
onto him,
is very like, and it's really kind of like, this guy's nice, but then there's like this weird kind of, well, it's Gene Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
So he always has this weird edgy vibe to him, and it works. That part works. Like that's the part that really got me invested into the story. I really dug it, and I love how they played with the whole like turning the record backwards thing. And him getting like all that to me was the better part of the film. To where the second half is where once Sammy became like the Freddy Krueger type character in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it, but it was like I kind of liked following the other character more. Because I always it was weird. I kind of tend to lean towards these stories like Little Shop of Horrors and other ones where they are these cautionary tales of people getting everything they wish for, only for it to be a Faustian.
Yeah, the Faustian.
And that's kind of what I was expecting it to be, to where this kid would either fall to the dark side and go all the way, or he's gonna resist until the point where either true love or whatever breaks him out of this spell. Well, then it turns into like basically like you said, like Shocker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it does. The last 30 minutes of the movie, it feels so much like Shocker. I was just like, what the fuck happened to this movie? I feel like I'm watching Shocker again. Yeah. And that's maybe why I felt so disappointed, because I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, it's cool, but
yeah, maybe you should watch this before Shocker though.
But I do like how the ending is like they got to get to the radio station and stop it, kind of like Halloween 3. So that's like I said, it felt like somebody watched Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and Halloween 3, and like, okay, let's make a movie with all these things in it.
Yeah.
And add some rock and roll.
Yeah. I mean, I love the soundtrack. I love it. But yes, Charles Martin Smith did direct this from American Graffiti.
Best well known for American Graffiti, and of course Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And he was on what TV show was? I swear he was on it. Maybe I'm wrong. But no, actually, he had a pretty prolific directing career, and this was his first film he directed, I believe.
Yeah, his first film, Night Dragonzilla. Actually, so many dum-dums, he had never seen it before. I talked him into buying it, pre-ordering it, and he said it was the most expensive pre-order he ever bought, but he really liked it. But yeah, the second half declines just enough where I can see why it hasn't been cable TV special this day. So
I guess actually it has more to do with the rights. That's the other thing, was like there was a rights issue for the last. I'm trying to remember where I read this, but like, because this is where I know because I don't think it ever got a DVD release, did it? And because my friend has the import, so it did get a Blu-ray.
It's called
outside
Ragman.
the US. Yeah, and I don't think it's had a release since like its first. I think it got maybe one other release on VHS back in the day. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it ever got a DVD.
I think it did have a DVD.
Did it? Okay, maybe by then they got some of the rights figured out, but like there was something to do with. There was rights issues, I think.
Yeah, I think there's rights issues, but I remember the DVD cover has Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne on it, but it's not Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne from the movie. It's them.
That's right. You're right.
Them as they're rocking.
Wasn't it like a Good Times or something like that? It was like a cheapy.
It's a cheapy DVD. It's a cheapy.
But I remember never being able to get my hands on it, and then than just to now. Like, I know that this was why it was so everybody wanted to get their hands on it, because I know it's been a movie that's so hard to get your hands on.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to talk about Ozzy Osbourne for a minute.
I love it. He's the
Who the fuck's idea was it to make him the Baptist fucking evangelist? He's literally the only Baptist evangelist who has a fucking British accent in the history of ever.
That's what I said, because I love it, because it's so bad, because he's the Baptist preacher and he's still British and he's still Aussie.
I know, but it's like, it's funny because it's Ozzy and you just let it go. But I'm sitting here thinking afterwards, I'm going, he's literally the only Baptist preacher in the history of ever to have a
Right.
to be British.
What are these note phones here? Why can't
you couldn't come up with something better, like a U.S. senator, maybe, or something like,
yeah,
or maybe even somebody from the UK who's saying that the American music is destroying the youth of the UK or something.
Yeah,
like, I don't know, something. It just kind of was like weird, but like it works for the movie. But when you sit back and think about it a little bit, you're just like, that was pretty stupid to cast him in that. And he can't act for shit. Like, he stumbles over every one of his lines. And it's not even the, the drunk, fucked up Ozzy. It's, I'm nervous as fuck and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, Ozzy. I'm gonna remember all these lines. It's like, yeah.
Just smack me on the TV and I'll disappear. It is good. It is good. But I mean,
it's fun to have him there. Yeah,
it's fun. I mean, I get your guys. I get, because you guys coming in as that. Like, I mean,
no,
like
don't get me wrong. I did enjoy it, and I love the cheesy 80ness of it. It's just that last half compared to the first half felt like a little bit of a letdown. It just felt like the kid's story kind of got sidelined to highlight that character, the Sammy Carr character, or Kerr, or whatever character, a little bit more. Which it's fine, but the climax is kind of anticlimactic too.
It is. I will agree with you on that.
Like,
especially how
the fucking
he's like, pew, pew, and they're done.
I hope you can swim, you son of a bitch, or whatever.
Hey, it's Skippy from Family Ties, man.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's Skippy from Family Ties, their next door neighbor, who was always.
I thought I recognized him, but I wasn't sure who it was. But no, everybody's fine in it. The cast is fine, and there's some cool death scenes in it. It's like they go out of their way to make that bully so horrible. It's like, did he really have to try and like go after his girlfriend?
Yeah, especially at the end, like right after coming from the girl that just got.
Yeah, I know, that's the weirdest thing. You're like, he's like, oh, what the fuck did you do to my girlfriend? And then 10 seconds later, he's trying to fuck his girlfriend.
Yeah, it's like, what? I agree with you. I mean, it's not. I mean, this movie has not got like the oh, this is the perfect movie, but it's just one of those.
It's
movies,
80s fun for sure. It'd be a definitely good one to watch with like 976 Evil, I bet, and or something like that. It's got that Halloween 3 kind of vibe to it with the whole we got to stop the recording thing at the end. That at least helps save the ending for me. But like, it almost is like they forget about that for a minute too. I don't know if you noticed that. It's like he says it. And he gets to the plan or whatever, and then all of a sudden he goes and does all this other shit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, now we got to go stop the recording again. It's like, yeah, you said that like 20 minutes ago.
They had to stretch out the movie to get that 80.
I mean, it doesn't need to be 97 minutes. It could have been a tight 80 minutes for that matter. Yeah. I mean, it works. It's fine. It's good. It's better than Shocker by far. Yeah. Like, I don't have as many leaps of logic as I did with Shocker. It makes sense. Right, there's at no point where I'm going, oh, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, yeah, it makes sense that, he plays the recording, he finally comes out, whatever. It just, to me, it didn't, you could definitely tell they were trying to pull this, like, heavy metal Freddy Krueger thing with him having the half-burned face and all that stuff. And it's just like, no, it's fine. It was just like, okay, yeah, I just was looking, like, it felt like it was building up for something more with the kid. That's all.
I agree with you. It does, because it kind of feels like he's talking to him through this, and he's giving him like,
yeah, you're getting the Christine Little Shop of Horrors vibe out of it, and that's what I was kind of figuring it was going towards. Yeah. I
mean, that would have been an interesting thing. It would have been an interesting thing.
Because I like that turn where he's like, because he comes back and he's starting to get cooler, and he's
getting
so
a girl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, I'm seeing the vibe of the film going through, and it's like, which again, at the time, maybe I wouldn't have liked it so much, because then if they would have gone that way, I'd have been like, well, I've already seen this with Christine, right? So, I mean, in that respect, I think what hurt this film for me personally was more so watching it after Shocker and being half awake watching it. Right. That is the main thing. I will definitely rewatch this movie again. This This is definitely a Halloween film.
No,
It's
definitely.
great to have a Halloween film to throw in there. Although it has very little to do with Halloween at the end of the day, which is
Very,
funny.
very much. Yeah.
It feels like that was an afterthought, but like, yeah.
Yeah. Which I think the original name was Ragman, not Trick or Treat. And then like they changed it to Trick or Treat for after that, but still released it as Ragman overseas. So, um, but no, you're right. I will definitely. We'll probably have this on again next October, more than likely, because it was kind of, like Synapse put it right at the end of Halloween. Like, guess what? Here it is.
Well,
like,
they've been
aw,
trying to
man.
get it out for a while now, so I think what they did, it was like they set themselves. They probably wanted to have it out by Halloween, but something
Yeah,
pushed
so,
it back just a smidge. But they were just like, instead of waiting till next year, they're just like, fuck it, let's get it out.
yeah.
I think is what happened.
I'm glad they did though. I'm glad to have it.
Some people got lucky and I think got it before Halloween. So
Yeah, some people did. I would have had it a couple days after Halloween if my post office wasn't that being a bitch.
I got mine. I think what day was it? Saturday or Monday? I can't remember what day I showed you. That's the day I got it.
Yeah. It was. They'd say that it was because of all the like the election is why they took them so long to get to my to get it to me.
Oh yeah, the mail was probably running slow because of
Yeah.
all the mail-in ballots. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But I got it. I'm happy to have. I mean, I'm glad you at least liked it, even though I understand the problems. I get where you come from, but like
It's mainly just the third act, and it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like a deal breaker. It's just it would help if the climax would have been a little bit better too. That's the only thing. Yeah.
I will agree with you. The climax of the movie needed to be a little bit better, but
They should have come up with something clever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, because the whole thing of him coming out through the record, they could have come up with some way to come back at it. And also
like bring him back into the record and keep him
somehow.
locked in
Yeah,
the
exactly. Like, I'm trying to think of a way that they could have, or sent him into a place where he couldn't get out. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
think of it from him, like outside the box a little bit and go like, okay, come up with a scenario or a plan. Because that also would have worked with the kid because the whole time he's like, what's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? So he clearly has no self motivation whatsoever. So finally, if it would have been kind of cool for the character to finally take some own self ambition and come up with a unique, clever plan to take this guy out, like he's been giving him, the hints to do this whole time, but he comes up with it on his own, right? And they should have had it like something. All you had to do was set something up with like his buddy or him, are like really, because they're already nerds.
Yeah.
So have him come up with like some way of thinking like, okay, this guy's using electricity or whatever, kind of like with Shocker, which was kind of clever in a way to find a way to trap him in some infinite, darkness place or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, come up with some kind of clever way to combat the music of it. I don't know. Come up with something. I don't know.
Yeah, so I get you. And
Even
the
if it's
water
like
thing does come out of the blue.
Yeah, because it's like, what the fuck? That doesn't really even do any.
Yeah. Electricity can
He's
travel
like a
through water,
ghost. Like,
so.
he's like, what the fuck is water gonna make to him right now?
That does come out of the blue. But I'm not.
Or they should have set it up, or if that was going to be the case, because they had a perfect setup earlier, like but it's when he, the ghost does it himself when he makes everything go fucked up, and like that pop spills on the record player or whatever.
Yeah.
They should have set it up to where something like if the power got shorted out, like he did something to accidentally pull the power, and that's when he figures out, oh, the voice went away. But at that point, he still wants to hear the voice, but then he figures that out. But then that's a way how you figure out, like, maybe even if it was something as simple as just using fucking earplugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just, I'm trying to think of a way. And honestly, like, there's another side of this movie that kind of really, it's one of those movies where I feel like they jumped into it without really thinking about what they were doing at first. And this is like on a very over bubble kind of looking at the movie, because the movie is trying to comment on the era of the Tipper Gore,
the satanic panic and
satanic panic scare. I don't know if doing this as the story was necessarily going to help your fucking point.
It is true. That is one of the contentions.
You get what I'm coming from?
Yeah, because it's
that's, I think, one of the controversies of the film to begin with. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, the whole point is like, oh, it's not really satanic at all. It's this, but then he's actually satanic. So,
Yeah, it kind of doesn't help your point.
but I mean, like I said, I grew up on it. I love the movie, but I completely get all the complaints. I do. But I did, I
And
honestly,
I'm
at
not
the end of the
trying to
day,
shit on the movie. I'm
no,
just
no,
having
I don't
fun.
think
But
you are either. I don't think you are. I'm just super, super glad to have it. Finally have a good copy of it. Because like you said, it does look beautiful. It
yeah,
does
it
sound
looks
good.
great. Sounds
I
amazing. Looks
yeah,
good.
the soundtrack, I always love the Fastway soundtrack. It's amazing. And
I
speaking
didn't
of which,
notice any DNR or
yeah,
neat or
no.
any up conversions or major, like, even it looks like a very natural all the way through, almost like a Vinegar Syndrome or Arrow release, basically. Yeah.
It's got that filter. I mean, and like Michael, what's his name, Felser, the Red Shirt Pictures, who does special features for just about every boutique label there for a while. This is the start. This is like his first release, sort of like a part. Have like Vinegar Syndrome has partners, like he partners with Synapse to put this together. So,
Well, I know this is a passion project for him, and you can tell.
yeah. And Bronson Wright Wolf here sends us a $5 super chat. Thank you, Bronson, for the $5 super chat. He says, Highway to Halloween would have been a much better title for Trick or Treat. That's not a bad title. It says, what's your thoughts on the songs Heft? And if you could see from the album. I like them. Like I said, I like the songs.
Yeah,
all
the music's
songs
all good.
Yeah, I thought they were great.
I don't know if one necessarily stands out above the rest, but I mean, the main Trick or Treat song and the other ones they have the video for are probably the two best songs on the soundtrack.
I like the Trick or Treat one, and I like the one they play in the beginning, Stand Up and Be Counted.
Yeah, see, that one reminds me of, I wonder if somebody else didn't redo that song at some point too, because that one sounded familiar too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah, it's I can't really pick offhand, but it's a good question.
It was a good. It's got an amazing.
I think the soundtrack's been out of print for a while too. That's another good thing about this.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I know the soundtrack's been a lot easier to come by than the movie, but yeah.
I think TerraVision maybe put that out on a record
a little while ago. Yeah,
I mean,
for years. I know it was a hard one to get your hands on.
Yep, you're not wrong. I mean, it still sells for a pretty good penny if you try to get a CD or even a cassette of it from back then.
Did they even do Oh yeah, they did CDs probably at that point. Yeah.
Oh man, I think that little like metal cassette that he gives I like that.
That'd be cool to have the soundtrack on a tape like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would have been like a nice little collector's piece. But yeah, it's great. I mean, like I said, the standard edition, they said, will not have the posters, will not have the books, will not have the CD. It will probably just be 4K and Blu-ray. And they are trying to rush it up because of what happened. So I know that.
Yeah, no, they did a good job handling that the way they did. I mean, yeah, it was probably frustrating for a lot of people, but I'm sure the only reason I got the one I did get was because everything crashed the way it did. And I'm sure Synapse made sure they had what they needed. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they printed a few extra ones. I don't know. I doubt it, but I'm not surprised it sold out as fast as it did. Well, that sucks, Random Brad. Now you can get if you got your hands on this one, you got it again. But hit me up, Brad, if you need a copy of it. I can at least send you a digital copy of it.
Yeah,
I had it before this, but yeah.
I'm glad to have it again. I mean, I have the songs myself.
I have a digital version, but now I actually have a physical version.
Yeah, sort of same here. Sammy, to be honest with you guys, I could tell you what he died of and why he died young, but I don't want to ruin that for some people who don't want to know what Sammy Kerr, who he really was, the actor that played him.
I have no idea. You'll have to tell me.
I'll tell you what he.
Well, I said we're almost done anyway, so you can just wait until we're done too here. So that's it, unless you have anything more to really say about it.
No, that's it. But it's a great movie. I enjoyed it. I'm glad you got to see it, and I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you got the same cover I did. I mean, I didn't even realize that this was the best. That was one
sold out the fastest. Yep.
The moment I saw it, I was like, "That's what I'm buying." And I was lucky enough that day. I ordered it because they said the site because I saw this Synapse message.
It was sold out right away. Like that was what I said. I had it in my cart, and as I was checking out, it's like you can't. It says you have to adjust your cart. This is no longer in stock or whatever. I'm like, what the
Oh
fuck?
man, that's
Like,
right.
and then I went back because before when I first put it in my cart, they had all 3 of them. And by the
Right.
time I went back to the main page after I got it to find, because they were running slow as hell too on Diabolic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got back to the main page, and the other one had sold out too. Besides it, so B and C had already sold out. So I bought A, but I sent them the email and explained to them what happened. I'm like, you know, and I just like whatever. If they can't do anything about it, they can't do anything about it. But otherwise, I kind of started looking around to see if anybody else had it because I know Synapse went down, and I think I checked Orbit as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the email back, so I didn't order it from anywhere else because I was thinking about if I could get that one I wanted, I would, and just cancel the one at Diabolic. But yeah. No, it worked out. So
You're lucky. Yeah, I
and I made sure I got my friend. He just got one of the last copies here because I asked him. I'm like, "Didn't you pick this up yet?" He's like, "No." I'm like, ain't this one of your holy grails? He's like, well, I got the Blu-ray. He can be like that sometimes, and then other times he's like, "Why didn't you fucking tell me?"
Well, I was happy to get because I saw the Synapse message said our website is down. So if you want to get a copy, I was like, oh, I got because I had not checked Twitter until that that point of the day, and so I jumped over to Orbit real quick and I saw C was still in stock and I grabbed it, and it looks like like I told you, great minds. All of us really wanted to cover C. It is the best cover. It really is the best cover. So.
I mean, honestly, I'll be real with y'all. I'm not a big fan of this multi-cover shit.
Yeah. It reminds me of the comic books from the 90s.
It does. I was just going to mention that. Thank you. Yeah. and the one that pissed me off most is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because Disney, the greedy bastards, want fucking $55 for it. So if you even want to get both covers, both cases, if you're able to get your hands on them, that's over $100 just for that.
Yeah.
To end up in an extra copy of a movie you already have then.
I couldn't even imagine the people that bought all 3 copies of this, all 3 versions of this one. It's like, do you really need all 3 of them to get all 3 of those cases? Do you really?
And what pissed me off is the best case wasn't even a 4K one. It was the Walmart exclusive, which they could have done, but they did it just on the Blu-ray, and that was the pop-up one with all the Deadpools. Like a pop-up book.
Yeah, the pop-up, yeah, with all the... Yeah, scalpers will get you every time. Already $250 on eBay.
Damn. Yeah, don't fall for it unless you really, really want the swag.
Yeah. At the 40th anniversary will be on the 24th.
Honestly, if you're somebody who knows how to get stuff out there on the high seas, I bet you the soundtrack's out there. It's been out there for a while, probably.
Yeah. It's been, I mean, this is the physical media show, and I would say buy physical, but you can get them, His music is a little different.
I'm just saying, if you miss out on this version and you still really want to get it, and you only get the other version, so
yeah, but yeah, that's like I would have had that, on Halloween, and more than likely I will have it again next Halloween because it's going to be on my watch list to rewatch again. I will not watch it from here until next year because that's how I roll with especially with movies that take place on Halloween. Whether the Halloween is a big theme of the movie or not, if like Terrifier, Halloween movies, Trick or Treat, I don't watch them till October, but I will watch other scary movies constantly throughout the year. So that's how it is. But I'm glad that this is finally out for people to get. I can't wait for the standard version to come out for all the people that missed out on it. But yeah, like you, Tom. It reminds me of the 90s comic boom where they tried to, and they just oversaturated the market and ruined everything. So we don't need that many different covers. So, yeah.
And I'll be honest with you guys, if anybody's listening or does happen to catch this from one of these companies, I know most of the boutique labels are fairly well aware of this. 9.999 times out of 10 as collectors, I can tell you flat out, we want the original poster art.
Yes.
And if there was multiple posters, that's what you do. You put one on the outside, one on the main, and you're done. Yep. You don't need to go crazy. You don't need to commission new art, although I love and know several of these artists. I don't know them personally, but I know other artists who have done these kind of things in the past and stuff. So I do like them getting work, but that's not the point.
Right. Right. Point is,
have them design a t-shirt or something. They don't need to do this. I don't need some new commissioned art. We want the original art 9.999 times out of 10.
Yes, exactly. And the By the way, the cover art that I switched mine to, that is another cover art of the film. That's not the new. This is not a new. This is an old. This is an old VHS
probably
cover
the
art.
post. I was gonna say it's either probably the theatrical poster or whatever, and then the one on the inside.
Yeah, and the ones with the video poster. Yes,
and that's all you got to do is if they had a teaser poster and a regular poster, then you put the teaser poster on the outside, whether it's a slip cover or a hard case like this, and then on the DVD you just have the standard poster. Or if they had a really cool, memorable video case that was actually different, then do the video case on the inside and the movie poster on the outside. Real simple. Yeah. You don't have to make it that complicated. I just saved y'all a bunch of fucking arguments and disagreements in your office.
Yeah. there you go.
It's real simple. Just go with that plan. It's like, is there a teaser poster? Okay, well, that's going on the outside. It's theatrical on the inside. If there's a different video poster that people actually like, keep that in mind.
Yep. It's like they said with the studios is like they have this marketing department that they don't do jack shit.
Yeah, so basically post 90s, anything. No, just ask us. Then ask us. Just do a little poll.
Yeah, it would save them. And the funny thing is, what we've heard is that usually there's no hangups on the artwork. Because
usually no, because they own it flat out.
Yeah, they own it flat out, and it's like, then why don't you just give them to us?
Yeah, it's like, okay, so you're spending the money on having somebody new, which again, I appreciate you're giving the work to an artist, but that could also help bring the cost of this thing down a little bit.
I know don't
go spending the money on somebody else when you can just have the original poster art.
I know there has been some people complaining about we don't need the lobby cards and posters anymore. It's like,
that stuff it depends. Like I don't care.
A poster here and there. And
give me the option, I guess, at least. If not, I don't see why there couldn't have just been a standard version of this released at the same time without all the swag as just the regular discs only. But
yeah. But
I mean, some people don't care about that stuff. Some people do. And I look, you do you, boo. Your kink is your kink. Okay.
Exactly. I gotta be honest with you. I told you, like the poster from this and the poster in the Nightmare on Elm Street set. I'm really considering about framing both of them and putting them up somewhere. That's the first time I've ever really thought of that. From all these posters that I've gotten. I don't know why. Just those two, I really like. I like them. And I do like the fact that the other side of the Trick or Treat poster is the poster he has hanging up in his room. So, I
guess I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, the other side of the same.
Pulled it out. I really just pulled it out and watched it for the first time today. So, because I figured you would, and I was like, well, it's probably a good idea if I do.
Yeah. I was waiting to get it. I had to watch it, but yeah. All right. With that, guys. Hey, look, we still managed to go almost 2 hours, which isn't a bad show. I hope we gave you guys a good show tonight. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us out there in the chat. I hope you had a good, fun time, and everybody at home watching. I appreciate you guys watching. But as always, make sure you like, subscribe, and all that for the Midnight's Edge After Dark, Midnight's Edge, my channel. But as always, you don't have to stay here. I'm saying this, I'm messing this all wrong. I'm messing it all up. But as always, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.